So I took a trip up to Phoenix because I had to get some work done on my car, and I went and stayed with a friend of mine who is in the Mesa area over the winter time. And it's Candy Mitchell who worked at EP for a very long time. But anyway, we stayed up and played this really fun game. It was called Fast Track, and I thought I'd like to have one. And she said, "Oh, you should just make one. Don't spend your money on it." So I thought, it looked pretty easy. I think I can do that. So after I headed back home after getting my stuff done, within a week I was working on it, and I started by getting two pieces of wood and gluing them together. They are cut to 15 inches. And I called Candy several times to try to get dimensions and figure out stuff, how things worked. Um, but after a while, I was on my way working on it, and I think it turned out all right. I looked around online and found little patterns that I could etch into my wood, and I tell you, it wasn't
Okay,
easy.
so I got my board all laid out after some, well, it wasn't easy, but I figured out the um, dimensions of it. This is like a 15-inch circle. So I figured all that out, and then I made different stuff so that I can, um, so that I'll know where the holes and stuff go. I've got these paint pens that I'm going to use to put the circles and the color on the board, and then I'll put some lacquer over it so it doesn't, you know, so it stays nice. And then I got my little star that I'm going to put in the middle. And I was fortunate to, well, Candy's board, I called her a few times to get different measurements and took a few pictures so I have something to fall back on. But yeah, so it's coming along. And here's a picture of Candy's board that uh, I don't want to say copying, but I am kind of copying it. So thanks, Candy. So I'm like making this board, and I was like thinking, well, I want to make sure that I'm gonna make it my own, but I also want to make sure that you know, you can tell that it's um, something that I made, and I guess I don't have to worry about that because I'm doing all this stuff freehand, and it certainly will be able to tell that you know, it's not all uniform, and that I don't have to worry about somebody thinking about it because it's definitely going to be not going to be without flaws, put it that way. But it'll be kind of cool because it's something I'm making. So we're coming along. It's getting there. All right, so then I put some stain on it. I actually like the color of that stain of that sauna. That's beautiful. But I wanted to go with a little bit darker color so that the board colors will pop. Um, so we'll see how it turns out. This is the bottom. I really like the wood lines on the bottom. They look nicer than the front. But I didn't use that because I had a little stain there, so I went with the other side. But it's looking good. We'll see what the other side turns out. Hope I can see my etchings to make my lines for the pegs. I should be able to. Okay, here we go.
So I redrew all my lines on there with my paint markers and filled in the colors, and it really started to look nice. And this is kind of what we ended up with at that point. Okay, so I got all the holes drilled. That was no small task since I used just a regular drill bit. Um, and I just had to patiently go through and drill all the holes. And then I realized that, I planned this because I figured for the little pegs, I had a hard time finding pegs. So I thought, okay, well, how about using golf tees? Because they just, you know,
that looks great. That works. And so I figured out that was like a 13/16 width. And so I just grabbed a 13/16 drill bit and measured how deep I can go. Put a little tape on there and drilled down to that depth. And those fit fine in there. I thought I would have to cut them off, but I don't think so. I think that that looks really good that way. So that's kind of as far as I am now. I need to uh, obviously finish up these holes, sand them down a little bit, and then I'll put some lacquer on it um, to make it, nice and smooth and shine a little bit. And I already added these little bumpers on the back so it sits nicely. And I think that'll be it. So let's see how that looks when we get that part done.
So this is a finished product, and I had a lot of fun making it, and the three of us here are having fun playing it, and I need to practice up more so that when I see Candy the next time, she won't beat me so bad because she really kicked my butt. But she won't the next time.